Yeah. Yes, the strong gets weak while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make a grave. Mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Oh, honey, you got lots and lots of friends running round the door. But when your money's gone and your thinking is they don't no, they don't come around here. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't you ever take too much. Mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. God bless the child that's got his own. God bless the child that's got his I know there's been more than a time or two that I did not say thank you, even though I'm grateful for what is on my table. Lord, you supply all I need. I know I can't repay you for your goodness, your forgiveness, and new mercies that I see every day. You help me with my problems. With you I can solve them. Lord, you know all I need. I know there's been more than a time that I did not say thank you, even though I'm grateful for what is on my table. Lord, you supply my need. I know I can't repay you for your goodness, your forgiveness, and new mercies that I see every day. You help me with my problems. With you I can solve them. Lord, you supply my need in everything. Give thanks to Him, for it is it's the will of God in everything. Give thanks to Him, for it is the will. Oh, depths of my soul, I want to say thank you. Oh, I have so much to be grateful for and much to be thankful for. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you've been better to me. You've been better to me than I've been to myself. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Lord, you've opened doors for me, and you always made a way. Thank you. Thank you. Lord, you picked me up and you turned me around. Place my feet on the solid ground. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. When I was down and out, you brought me out. I want to say you've been good. I know you've been good to me. You've been good. I've got to say thank you. Thank you. You've been so good to me. You've been mighty good to me. You made a way for me. I've got to say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You've been good. You've been good to me. Mighty good to me. Mighty, mighty good to me. I've got to say thank you. I won't say thank you, Lord. Thank you. I want to say thank you for waking me up this morning. Every day I want thank you for starting me on my way. Oh Lord, thank you for food on my table. I want to say, thank you. Got to say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. For the activities of my hand. You made a way for me. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So good. Mighty, mighty. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. There is a name I love to hear. Oh, how I love to sing its worth. It sounds like music on my ear. The sweetest name on earth. My high mountains, they seem like stepping stones. In your Holy Spirit to comfort and make me strong. In the name of Jesus, Satan, you'll have to flee. I get a real good feeling, 'cause Jesus gives me victory. Oh, there is a name I love to hear. Oh, how I love to sing its It sounds like music on my ear. The sweetest name on Send your Holy Spirit to comfort and make me strong. In the name of Jesus, Satan, you'll have to flee. I get a real good feeling, 'cause Jesus gives me victory. Yeah, every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before. Oh, how I love Him, I worship and I adore. Every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before. Oh, how I love Him, I worship and adore. Jesus, Jesus.
Happy Monday to each of you, and officially Welcome to our show, Perspective. For those of you all who this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Japal Demetrius Vines, and we are very excited about our show. Just in case there's anybody in the Birmingham city or surrounding areas, if you don't know our guest, if you're not familiar with us, I think you should have learned a little bit about her and who she is in that 15-minute pre-show musical that we wanted to give you. But I am excited and delighted. I'm not going to delay the hour. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest at this time. She is actress, singer, humanitarian. She's another mom to me. At times, she's my aunt. At times, she's my big sister, my great friend, Belinda George Peoples. You're muted.
All right.
Okay. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. And
Nobody
it's not
can
the church announcements.
nobody can do that like you. Nobody can do that like you. But thank you for joining us on our show tonight as we continue our celebration um, in Women's History Month. Like I told you earlier, there was no way that I can conclude this month on my show without having you on as a guest. And real quick, we do this every week. Let's go ahead and shout out those that are already tuned in. Rose Sager, hello to you. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Rose.
Hey, Mama, thank you for coming
Greetings.
in. Miss Georgia Blair, good to see you.
Hey, Georgia.
Yes. Miss Linda Hill, thank you for
Hey,
joining.
Linda.
Leandria, thank you for joining.
Holly, Andrea. Ooh, church folk.
Thank you for joining us. Let me tell you the way that works. If you don't, we don't shout you out. You have to leave comments for us to know that you're on. So we do shout out those that do send us greetings. But let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I don't want to delay the hour. Um,
I know that's right.
you have been in this industry of singing and acting for a long, 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 long time. So let's get started back to your childhood. Kind of take us back to those good old days in Mason City, and tell us how you
Whoop,
got
whoop,
your
whoop,
start.
whoop. Mason City in the house. Well, I was actually born and raised in Mason City.
Okay,
We attended, and I was baptized at First Baptist Church, Mason City. At that time, Reverend A.M. Martin was the pastor. And my mother, of course, Miss Minnie Ruth Montgomery,
mhm,
was a Taurus,
okay,
actually passed away. But Mama was the church musician. She was the church musician. And I think Mama played there for about 14 years.
okay.
When my mama left, then I started playing for our church.
So
And I
that's a little
played,
hidden secret for those of y'all who don't know. She could,
nah,
and I'll put this cat out the bag. For those of you longtime members at New Hope, she was actually blessed to play during the service. That's many years ago, but we'll kind of talk,
many years ago.
right, we'll kind of talk about that later on during the show.
But my mother played. She was a musician, church musician, and then when she left, I did what I could. I'll say it like that. But my mother was very dedicated, and I was not totally. I was still young too. I was dedicated, but there were other things that I wanted to do.
Absolutely,
Whereas basically, Mama was seasoned enough, and that was her life.
absolutely.
Playing for churches, and she also played for Reverend Poole's church,
Okay,
Mount Carmel Baptist Church. It was on the south side at that time.
okay,
And Mama could play and she could sing. And then she and my aunt and some friends of theirs, which were like neighbors and they were best friends, and their dad, Mr. Lovell Carter, they actually had a singing group. And then I forgot what she said it was, what it was called. My granddaddy was a quartet singer, my mama's father,
okay,
Isaac Montgomery at that time. And then my biological father, which was Eugene Frazier, was a singer, and he was a quartet singer. So all of those singers and musicians intertwined. And so later, um, after that, well, it's quite a bit, but to make a long story short, I continued singing and I stopped playing.
gotcha.
And after I left First Baptist, we went on to attend. We joined New Hope Baptist Church. So actually, my grandmother and I joined. I think we joined the same time, that same Sunday, and my cousin,
Okay.
Malik.
Now we
So
got to go back because you're leaving out something very important. And before we proceed, there's some people that'll come on. I have to acknowledge. Good evening to Sheriff Mark Petway and
hey, Mark and Vanessa.
my little brother Terrence on. That's Miss Belinda.
I love
What's
you. I
up
love
to
you.
my classmate Joyce Miller
Hey, Joyce Kirkland.
and my big brother Jeff. Belinda's brother is on.
Hey,
What's
my
up,
brother
Jeff?
Jeffrey. Jeffrey Magic. Hey.
Yes, absolutely. And Leandra, you are correct. Singing is definitely in her DNA. But we gotta go back because I love hearing this story. Your mom was singing "We Come This Far by Faith" in
Yeah.
Sunday morning service, and kind of take us back to what happened during that Sunday service.
Well, my mother was singing. Mama could sing anyway. Mama, she didn't even have to have the piano, but she sang. But the choir at that time it was the senior choir,
Hmm.
and they were singing "We Come This Far by Faith," and my mother was leading it, and so it was getting so good. I was just sitting up there. I was standing in the choir too, and all of a sudden, I just out of nowhere, I just started singing the verse, and my mama stopped singing and just let me sing it. And after that, I was nervous as a cat, but I guess it was the Holy Spirit, even at that point in time in my life, at a young age, just took over. And from that point on, I never stopped. I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And so from that point, we started, we used to have broadcasting on Sunday nights.
Uh huh.
And Deacon Davis and Miss Ruby Willis and Epps was sponsoring it at that time. And we would sing, be on the air. And we just started going on from that point on. And my grandmother got me, back then, Japal, they used to have fashion shows and teas. And so we had to go to BTU and all that good stuff. And so my grandmama told me she wanted me to sing on this fashion show. Somebody had asked her if I would sing on the fashion show.
Hmm.
And Miss Mahalia McReynolds. She was a low down alto, baby. She could carry her own. But all of them could sing. And she said, baby, she said, I'm going to teach you that song. And it was How Great Thou Art. So that was my first song that I sang at fashion shows.
And that's one of my favorite songs to hear you sing. It's so many, but it has to be at the list at the top. What I
Yeah.
want to do now, we're definitely going to come back. For those who are familiar with my background, I'm into theater. That's how this show was formed around that basis. And so our guest tonight, she brings, I think it's 36 years this year of theater experience. So we definitely want to highlight that. We're definitely going to come back to the music because the music is what brought the segue onto the theater. So let's talk about that moment in 1985, the year I was born, that you got the call to a local production of Ain't Misbehaving.
Well, a couple of friends. I didn't really know Eric at that time,
Hmm.
but Eric and Yvette, Eric McMillan McCall
Hmm.
and Yvette Jones Smith Yvette and I went to Alabama State University and we sang in the university choir together.
Okay.
And I also sang with the gospel choir, which was called at that time. And Brenda Banks Smith started that, the
Okay.
Young Hearts.
Wow.
And so I actually started out as a voice major in performing arts.
Okay.
And so from that point, I figured, oh, okay, well, I can do this. But it wasn't as easy as I thought. And it was mainly because I didn't really have the theory down pat. And theory was difficult, but I kind of breezed through it because I had people like Daniel Carr, Jose Carr, Aubrey Cummings, Zero, we call him, Billy, can't think of Billy's last name, but Billy and some of the other guys really helped me. Leander McCurdy, all of them worked with me on my theory, and I was the only girl in the class. And so it became a problem, but at the same time, I ended up changing my major, really going into my junior year. But I went and I did summer school and I overloaded myself as much because I wanted to graduate on time. But in the process, when I got the call after I finished college and everything, Yvette called me and she said, Belinda, she said, I got something I want to ask you. She said, you going to be at home? I said, yeah. So Theodore and I had got married at that time. And no Terrence at that time. So, but I always wanted to act. Well, I did a lot of it in elementary school and high school as well. But then I went on to pursue it. So that's why I went ahead and got in college with it. And then I saw it didn't go too well. Well, I did a lot of other little things around church and just always busy. And so she said, we'll be on over. I said, okay. So I said, well, what you need to talk to me about? She said, I'll tell you when you get there. So they came on. I'm a teacher, so I'm very detailed too. But anyway, they came on over and I was introduced to Eric and they talked to me about doing Ain't Misbehaving. Well, I had heard about it because at that time it was on Broadway and Neil Carter from Birmingham
Right.
was the Nell person. So they wanted me to do the Nell role, but it was off Broadway at Town and Gown Theater. And so I said, I don't know, Yvette. I said, I'm gonna have to pray about that. And she said, well, Belinda, just pray about it. She said, but you don't have much time to pray because we need somebody, to go ahead, and
Uh-huh.
fill the role. So I said, okay. I said, let me give it some thought. And she said, well, you got to audition. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'll do my best. I said, I don't even know anything to sing. She said, just sing Amazing Grace. It'll be fine. You just want to hear your voice. And at that time, James Hatcher was the producer. And so we went from that point. So I said, give me a few days. And I thought about it. I cried all night that night because I was nervous.
Mhm.
And Theodore told me, say, don't worry about it. You can do it. And so at that point, I said, well, I'll try. I'll try. So I called and told him I would be on. So from that point on, I got the part. I had to study and I was teaching school.
Mhm.
So I was juggling my schedule and I was a wife. So it was from a wife to a teacher to theater. And so from that point on, I got the hang of it. And I really enjoyed it because that was a great outlet and the experience was fantastic. I got a
Absolutely.
chance to meet a lot of different actors as well and actresses. So it opened many doors for
Mhm.
me at that point too. And then I didn't want to just be set in one set. Instead, I wanted to be versatile, and I always have been. So I tried, even if I couldn't do it, but I would try.
Absolutely.
So from that point on, we went on, and it's been continuing on ever since, praising God for the blessings, because I've truly been blessed with my gifts and talents.
Absolutely. And there are several roles. And in a moment, I'll allow you to share some of your favorite roles. But there's one play in particular I do want to comment on, and I couldn't get the video downloaded, but I'll get it downloaded on all of our platforms for the week is out. You were in Wedding Day, which is based on the book and the movie Member of the Wedding, and you
Mm-hmm.
played the role of Bernice, the housekeeper, which
Mm-hmm.
um, after Waters made famous, and then Claudia McNeil and Pearl Bailey
Yeah.
played years later. And for those who saw, Belinda actually posted that clip on Facebook. And in that scene, she's singing Ludi and Me. And one thing that I always commend you on, whatever role you play, you take the audience to where you are. The audience believes that. And anybody who has seen my shows, I'm big on that. You have to make your role believable because that's what sells the show. Those
Yes.
are the lines of characterization. And we'll talk about that in a few moments. So kind of tell us about Wedding Day, because you and I talked about that. And I think some of those things that you shared about the production and your relationship with Hugh Martin and just James Hatcher, they're very noteworthy of sharing.
Yes. Well, it was really an interesting role because it was a challenge for me.
Mhm.
And the reason why it was such a challenge because I was in it throughout the whole entire show. And when James Hatcher came to me and asked me about doing it, they were set out to actually start and possibly put it on Broadway.
Wow.
So this was a world premiere,
Okay.
and they wanted it in Birmingham. And the reason being is because Hugh Martin, who wrote it along with Ralph Blaine, was from Birmingham, Alabama. And from that point on, he just, oh my God, he was just so into it. I was saying, oh my God, I don't know if I could do it. He told me, he said, you remind me so much of Ethel Waters. And I thought it was a wonderful compliment,
Hmm.
coming from this big person because he was actually the guy who wrote "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas,"
Okay.
and he and Ralph Blaine, the trolley song, and "Meet Me in St. Louis," and so they actually did that on Broadway again. But actually, he wanted to get me after we did Wedding Day. He wanted me to come on to New York to do it, but they wanted somebody who had a name, and so
Gotcha.
Cicely Tyson ended up doing
Wow.
it. But in the process, it was a challenge, but it really made me. I actually stepped out of my norm.
Right.
So you know, it took me to another place because it was a old, it was a old based on what in the 1930s or
Hmm.
40s, and Carson McCullough wrote it,
Hmm.
and so they put their own little spin on it and entitled it Wedding Day, and instead of it being Bernice, it was Berenice,
Okay.
and Christy Tingle played the role as Frankie. So there were a lot of great actors and actresses in it, and we had so much fun. It was a great cast. And I mean, they really did a great job putting the production together. So it was basically a pilot that we were
Awesome.
doing.
And so from there, just to name a few, you went on to play Eveline in The Wiz, Teen Angel in Grease, Miss Hattigan and Annie. Yes, you played Miss Hattigan. And those were
Yes,
actually one
Miss
of the
Hannigan.
pictures that we played in the pre-musical with the slideshow. And just so many other memorable roles. Smokey Joe's Cafe. I
Yeah.
mean, the list goes
Even,
on and on.
even the best little whorehouse in Texas, I was
Wow.
Jewel.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I had to just get past it first because of the name.
Uh-huh.
Me being a church girl,
Absolutely.
oh my God. Now, well, what are the people going to say? But when you have gifts and talents, you never limit yourself.
Hmm.
I'll just say that today, but never limit yourself. You
Absolutely.
use the gifts that God has given you and blessed you with. I never let God go while I was in productions or even at the theater. They knew I believed in God. There were some who didn't believe. And actually, eventually, some that didn't believe in God started believing in Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So that meant more to me than anything because when you can touch others who don't believe, non-believers, that's what this race is all about. You have
Absolutely.
to go out and you have to spread the word because it's good news. And
Absolutely.
all of us can be saved if that's what we want, you know, in our lives. But it wasn't that I was trying to throw God off on them or Jesus Christ on them. I just knew who I believed in and what I
Absolutely.
believed. And what I believed, I stuck with it. And I still stand today on His word.
And that's one of the many things that you have always stayed on me down through the years about. And it really has stuck with me, and I do appreciate you for that. Just so many words of impartation and encouragement that you've given me. Now, I'm curious to know, what are some of your favorite productions that you have been a part of?
Whew. I think my first one and my special one was Ain't Misbehaving.
Hmm.
Oh my God. It just, Black and Blue was just, oh my God. That was one of my favorites. And I'm not a great dancer, but I could kind of do steps here and there. And that's what I did tell Hatcher as well. And Ain't Misbehaving, Smokey Joe's Cafe, Beehive.
Yeah, Beehive was a good one.
Yes, oh my God. And then, oh Lord, I enjoyed Hello Jerry.
Hmm.
And Sophisticated Ladies, you know. not just on the black shows. And Miss Hannigan was another challenge for me. Oh my God, because Carol Burnett played that role,
Right,
and
absolutely.
at that time, uh, Keith Keith Cromwell, who is now the executive director at Red Mountain Theater, which formerly was Town and Gown Theater. Oh my God, he Keith would push the button no matter what, and I really appreciate him for it because even with Beehive, and he said, "Honey, you're gonna have this big hair," and I'm saying, "Big hair? With the big blue bow in it." He said, "Oh, honey, it's nothing but theater, you know." And me, I love the cutesy and
Uh,
fancy and prissy look, you know. But you know, I got to the point then. It doesn't matter. I'm an actor. I'm a true artist of what I do, you know, and it doesn't matter. It's
right,
only for these shows and things, you know. I'm still Belinda.
absolutely.
And so when we did Miss Hannigan, Keith said, "Honey, I want you to play Miss Hannigan." And I'm looking at him and saying, "Miss Hannigan was white, Keith, not black, you know. I can't do Carol Burnett. Oh my Lord." So he said, "Honey, just do it your way." He said, "Just think about it." He said, look at the video and just see." So I started kind of creating my own Miss Hannigan, you know, and that's what makes a true artist, when you
Absolutely,
can create your own along with what you have, you know, and embody it to really make a difference in what you're doing, and make it believable.
absolutely,
And it was so wonderful. The little kids, oh my God, phenomenal,
absolutely.
phenomenal. So um, that was one, and respect.
Yeah, and
That
we'll talk about that
okay.
at the end, because for
Yeah.
those who know, why we're saving that for the end, as we know, the National Geographic station is
Yeah.
airing the Aretha series. Definitely going to give a quick recap because it comes on at 8 tonight. Definitely going to have everyone off in time to watch that. But Respect will be the actually last show that we cover. And the next thing I want to do, because this is not really known about you, you are a playwright as well, and should I say, an awesome playwright. And I actually see two original cast members from a production you did at New Hope. Look where he brought us from.
Oh,
My
wow.
brother from another mother is on, Errol Minor, and then my
Hey,
sister
Errol.
is on. Tell us kind of what inspired you to branch off into playwriting.
Well, I've always been one that'll just jot stuff down. Just
Hmm.
I like writing. Period.
Right.
I don't say too much, but I've been working on something for a few years now. But um, I just like writing. I guess being a teacher, so many things that I still would love to do, and hopefully, prayerfully, the Lord will enable me to do those things. Um, but Pastor Clark put us over. Um, he asked me if I would want to be a part of the drama ministry,
Hmm.
want to kind of start a drama ministry. Well, you know, during the time too, Mr. Motley would always do. We love the Easter program, the
Holiday
resurrection. We
project.
look
Yeah.
forward to that every Easter, and that
Right.
was one of the inspirations that really made me really want to kind of branch out and try it. And I love Black History Month because there was so much that we really didn't even know about our own people. And so
Absolutely.
I've always been a lover and advocate for Black history anyway. And so I just kind of started, uh, okay, from nowhere to somewhere, and then look where he's brought me from.
Hmm.
So from nowhere to somewhere, Trisha Watkins and I
Yes.
actually started that.
Yes.
And it was based on some of Trisha's life, some of my life, and I asked her if we could work together and do it, and we just kind of put our heads together, and we went from that point on. And at that time, I had just had Terrence, so I mean, it everything just worked itself out. And in the process, I could also use Terrence because Terrence was the baby.
Absolutely.
So he was one of the slave babies.
The original baby Matthew.
Yeah, but it made me really want to just try and see if I could do it. You know, if I couldn't find, but the church, it was well received by the
Right.
church. Our church family, New Hope, has always been an advocate for inspiring others to go on and do it, and they would receive it, which is
Absolutely.
a blessing because sometimes churches don't receive things well. But we are a church of what's happening now, even though things went the way they did in some situations, we still held together, as a family unit because that's really what we are. And I
Absolutely.
truly believe a family that prays together stays together. So a church family that even prays together, we can stay together. And with the help of the Lord, we can make it. And
Absolutely.
so from that point on, it just made me want to do more. I wanted to always involve my church in different activities and whatever was going on. And John Brown, bless his heart, John was one that we would motivate him even more. John was a worker anyway,
It
but
was.
that was right down his alley. On
Mhm.
top of it, he didn't really know as much as we did, but he was willing to learn and get in there. John was strictly church and gospel. And
Absolutely.
so yes, but it was a blessing. And so Rita Tucker, all of them, it was a blessing for me to just, it was a challenge, it was
Right.
another challenge. And I have no regrets in doing it. And so it just boosts me to want to do more with my church and my church family. So it just made me go on, continue in
Absolutely.
writing and just doing what I do. I didn't even know I could do it myself. So I'm thankful.
Absolutely.
I'm
And one of the
grateful.
things I remember as a little kid, because I think when From Nowhere to Somewhere came about, I probably was about 4 or 5, and then look where he brought us from, probably about 5 or 6. And for a kid in a black church,
Yep.
you didn't see that. And the
No,
crowds,
no.
people were coming and coming and
They
coming
sure were.
and
They sure
coming.
were.
And one thing I have to commend about you is I see where I get it from. You put people in roles that you didn't know that could act. Because I was
Mm,
just looking at the tape of Look Where He Brought Us From a few years ago. And I'm
uh-huh.
like, wait a minute, that's such and such. Wow. And it's just amazing. And
It just came natural.
absolutely,
Everybody that had a role, it actually came natural. I
absolutely.
saw Leandra. She
Yeah,
said Miss Jenkins. That was all JJ.
yeah,
JJ loved that kind of stuff,
she
so
did.
she was perfect in her
Absolutely.
role.
Absolutely.
Even Miss Ford. Miss Ford was kind of shy and kind of laid back and quiet. Like she got out there and did it.
She sure did.
Uh, even you used to watch everything I did. Yes, Errol. Yes, it will. Praise God. Even Errol Minor. I mean, Chris Thomas. Chris was, y'all, he was so quiet. He was that kind of quiet, shy. But I wanted to pull a lot out of everybody that could. Even Jose Daniel Carr.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't hardly get Jose to do nothing but go and play his jazz, Miles Davis stuff. Ricky Powell.
Right. It
Uh,
was a dynamite cast.
Oh
Just
my God. It was just Sandra Pratt of all people.
right. And we gotta
Sandra
talk
was
about that.
always so prim and proper,
Billy
but Sandra wore
Holiday.
Billie Holiday out.
Right.
Okay. And so when I look at those things, Brenda Clark helped get the material and stuff together for that. Jay Gregory, he was into
Right.
it. And so on. It was Catherine Harrell. I mean, Hattie Gaines, and these are people that are still around.
Right.
Some
Absolutely.
of them have gone on, but oh my God, Miss Gardner, she was Look Where He's Brought Us From. She did the theme song,
Uh-huh.
for it. But oh my Lord, and the choir would be packed. Everybody looked forward to it because it gave us something to enjoy
Absolutely.
at church. And so it's just a blessing. And I believe in just bringing people together in a happy way, in a good way. It's not all the time about being sad or fussing and cussing and going on like we do in raising sand and doing this, that, and the other. But it's about bringing people together, and that's what we need. We
Absolutely.
need it even now, in society. And we had black and white, we had Asian people there. We just had some of everybody coming, and we still do at different events that New Hope has. When we did city stages, George McMillan, we got involved. I talked to him, and he was on board with it, with city stages, and that was it. Then
Right.
Sarah Hamlin with the Conventions Bureau. She started, and John named it Gospel and Grits. I guess John or Sarah, both of them got together. Then from that, we traveled on to
Mm-hmm.
Spain and Washington, D.C., and Kentucky, just Chicago, different places. So, oh my God, we've had a plethora and platform in so many different ways, with our church and with our family. So I enjoy being a part. I don't even care about leading or being the director or being out front. I love being behind the scene. I love it. I'm always out front, but I don't mind. But sometimes just kind of sit back or stand back and let somebody else do it. And so,
Absolutely.
with the people and young people that are coming up now, they have something to look forward to if they really put God first
Absolutely.
and push toward what it is that they want to do, with the gifts that God has so richly blessed them with. I
Absolutely.
mean, this world would be a better place.
And then one other play that you kind of really revised and made sure, oh, they mentioned it, I got to talk about it. The Challenge of the Cross. That play had probably been running for probably about 20 something years when you directed it. And
Oh my God.
the way you had, because for those who are familiar with the original script, none of the cast members have names. It just as disciple this and disciple that. And
Yeah.
you took it and you dressed the cast members like they were actually disciples, and it just
Yeah.
had never been done. It was staged, and like I said, just mind blowing. Even when you think about
Yeah.
how you added the three women soprano singing cavalry,
Yes.
different things, mind blowing,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
So, we definitely have about 15 minutes, and we're definitely going to get as much in. And one other thing, you were one of the first people that I called after I made the decision with the blessing of my parents to start my own theater company.
Yes.
And after you cried, I said, okay, catch your breath. And you said, I knew it. I knew it. I always told Jan, Demetrius, you were going to be somebody.
Yeah. I was
And
not surprised.
I asked you, I said, well, what would be your advice? And they were very short words, but they were very profound. You said to me, stay true to yourself. Don't limit yourself. Keep God first, and you will go far. And that is
Wow.
it stuck to me to this day. It stuck to
Yeah.
me to this day. And I want to say this. So many times we like to prefer to younger people as the GOAT. And for those who don't know what the GOAT is, that means greatest of all times. Well, when I think of somebody that's considered the greatest of all time other than Jesus, to me, that's somebody who's paid their dues, who's put in the work, who has endured long nights, who's even shared tears, even endured pain. So, in other words, you are definitely, in my book, the GOAT, and you will continue to be the GOAT.
Thank you.
So, that is a true definition of a GOAT. And you've always remained teachable, humble, and you and I have had many long hours of
Yes, Lord.
conversation. You'll
2 and 3 o'clock in the
on
morning.
get on me if I've
But
done something wrong.
it's okay.
But it's all in love, and then five
Yes.
minutes later we'll end up to laughing. So it's just it's it's just that way.
Just love.
What would you say to the? And I know this is Women's History Month. What would you say to that female that's looking to get a start in the entertainment industry as an actress, but is kind of like having a hard time because theater, while it is probably one of the best outlets, there can be challenging moments, from
Mhm.
auditions. It can really just be hard. So, what would you say to that female?
First of all and foremost, stay true to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. You may not make it as far as some of the others with their names and lights or wherever, but in time, and if it's meant for you to be with your name and lights, God will allow it. Don't get so big headed where you just look over and look down on other people. You carry someone else with you. As
Absolutely.
you grow, take somebody else who will go, okay, and teach them. Let
Absolutely.
them be teachable as well as you. You never stop learning. My grandmother always told me that too. You never stop learning. You will always learn something new. And just just be true. Stay true, but be true to who you are. Don't try to be. You're not Beyonce. Beyonce is totally on her side, and you're on your side. You are not Beyonce. You're not Nicki Minaj, or you're not Diane Carroll. I never, growing up, I used to love like Diana Ross and later Chaka Khan, Natalie Cole. I love Aretha Franklin. Oh my God, but I still wanted to be me. And
Absolutely.
so, what I'm saying to you, ladies, young women, stay true to who you are. Trust God in everything you do because that's the only way you're going to make it, honestly. You can try, but trust God totally, okay? And the main thing is don't just settle for anything just because, all right?
Absolutely.
Just don't settle for anything because when you end up in situations like that, it's hurtful and you're not going to get far.
Absolutely.
Don't be just a piece of whatever, don't be a starving artist, okay? Don't be a starving artist. Just stay true to who you are. Do your best wherever you go, whatever you do. But always trust God because He's going to be your source. He's going to be your strength that really is going to help you to maintain and make it through. It's not going to always be easy, but it's not going to always be hard either. It's as
Absolutely.
hard as you make it.
Absolutely.
And have confidence in yourself. It doesn't matter how you look or how large or small you are. You just got to be true to who you are. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Even if no one else does, you believe in yourself. And
Absolutely.
I promise you, you'll make it. And the thing with me, I've never been anybody else but Belinda. From a
Absolutely.
little girl, Belinda.
Absolutely. Great advice. Great advice. Great advice. So now let's touch briefly on your singing. And y'all, I see y'all in the comments. I'm one step ahead of y'all, so just hold your horses. It's coming. It's coming. Um, music. So musically, locally, you were involved with outside of New Hope. You were involved with the Birmingham Community Mass Choir, and then you went on to sing on several albums with the Gospel Music Workshop of America, Abundant Life Music Ministry. Of course, the last song that was in the countdown, When I Call Your Name, you recorded with Kevin Turner, tribute to him. That was actually Belinda and Cynthia Bender, and Thank You. And just so many, so many, so many great things. There's so many moments from the workshop, but it's a blessing because almost 26 years later, I don't care. It's like whenever you hit on the radio, it's like it just came out. And I'll never forget when those of you who went to the workshop that year came back. And I remember Dr. Brown in front of the mass choir. He was like, I got this song. And he was like, I don't think we're going to be able to finish teaching it. But he was like, I'm going to try. And I remember by the time that he finished teaching the song, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. So kind of take us back to when It's a Blessing was recorded. And of course, that was written by the legendary, just probably one of the world's best composers and one of the best female missions, Pamela Jean Davis. So kind of take us back to that morning because for those who don't
Ooh,
know, a lot of the recordings that we hear, they're
yeah.
not at nighttime, they're actually
Uh-uh.
in the morning
Early.
workshop. So kind of take us back to that moment.
Well, that morning, actually, first of all, when Pam asked me, she told me, she said, Lenny, she said, I got this song I want you to sing. And I had heard her playing it. She just kind of played it before the workshop, and I thought it was just magnificent.
Hmm.
But she said, I don't have a soloist for it. So she said, but I'll probably get somebody once we get to the workshop. Didn't have any idea. And she
Wow.
asked me the day before
Wow.
if I would sing it. I was a nervous cat, okay? Mary, that's your favorite, the cats, but I was a nervous cat. And my God, my God, my God, I was so nervous. I couldn't even eat, okay? I could not even eat. And so the next morning, when we got there, everybody was just sitting down, just worn out, just tired because we had to be there like 7 o'clock. Oh my God. Some were there at 6. This was at the workshop. And my God. We started rehearsing and the Holy Spirit was tearing us down already, okay, before we even really got started. So then everybody started and we warmed up and everything. And my God, she said, "You got it." She said, "You're gonna be all right." We prayed about it. Pam got on that piano and Pam she took it to heaven, probably on the way from here, period. Okay. And the people started singing. And when you think about just being alive in the
Yeah,
eyes of Jesus, it's a blessing.
yeah,
Do you know when we got through singing that song, it was not a dry eye in there. All of us was torn up. When I came down, B. Michael McKay said, come on, go back, go back, go back. Come on, it was still rolling. It was still rolling. And I was saying, oh, I can't do no more. He said, come on, yes, you can, come on, come on. Went back up there, and I was just crazy. I was just, the Holy Spirit just had me so, I was crazy. It took us about 20 minutes to settle down. It was, it was the Holy Spirit was just that heavy in the place at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it was something. It was an experience.
yeah. Those are moments I will always treasure. Like I
Oh
said,
my
just
God.
when you all come back to Birmingham, talk about those
Oh
songs.
my God.
When I call your name, that was another one.
Yes.
And these are songs that they're still playing on the
Yes.
radio today.
Yes.
Of course, you also recorded that with Gregory Brown, who was also
Mm-hmm.
the nephew of Dr. John David Brown, a
Mm-hmm.
longtime member of New Hope and director of the Herman Stone Mass Choir. And turn it all over to the Lord, He'll work it out.
Oh my God, Miss Kay Pace. Now, when John Brown and Miss Mary Kay Elsaw started that church music
Yes,
workshop,
ma'am.
that was something for
It
Alabama.
was.
You still had Kirk Franklin.
Right.
No one really knew about Kirk. Kirk Franklin really started in Birmingham, and
Did.
he says that.
He did.
Kirk Franklin, Margaret Durow was already known, but baby,
Mhm.
Birmingham was her second home. Even James Cleveland,
Yeah.
oh
Because a
my
lot of
God.
songs that they would present at the workshop,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and you'd be like, wait a minute.
Oh
I
my
was there
God.
when they recorded that.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Bernard Sneed, Mr. Sneed was heavily involved in it. Lawrence Sneed, Eloise Gaffney, Prince and them came on later, but Prince and Eloise have and Crystal, they have really done an excellent job in
Absolutely.
keeping Birmingham together. And when they go to the workshops, people look forward to hearing from
Yes.
Birmingham, y'all.
Yes.
Birmingham is always ready.
Absolutely.
The
So major
sound is
kudos
coming.
to the Birmingham chapter on continuing this legacy, never
Yes,
missing a workshop since
yes.
1968.
Yes, and they look forward to going. So it's
Absolutely.
just a blessing, New Hope Baptist Church. I wouldn't trade my church for nothing. I even had people to tell me if I were you, I'd leave. Really? Who are you to tell me? I've
Absolutely.
never been that kind that you could push around. I
Absolutely.
would leave. It's hell everywhere you go, y'all. Okay.
Wait a minute. Margie Bryant is in the house. What's up, Margie?
Miss Mary Bryant's
Right.
daughter.
That's Mary LP Jr. right there.
God,
All the way.
yes, that's
All the
Junior.
way. Right.
That's Junior. Hey, Margie, I miss y'all. I miss y'all, and I'm
Absolutely.
looking forward to it. It's just a blessing to just be involved in what we do. And our church really, we are blessed to have a church that really supports us. Because
Absolutely.
during the shows that I've done, my church really supported me. You
Mhm.
have really supported me, and I still say thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And my brother Jeffrey, that's my right hand man, drama. Jeffrey Magic Jeffrey Magic Perry. He actually started with me when I did my first concert at
Wow.
Bethel AME in Rising. My
Wow.
mama, my auntie, Reverend William Sankey, Elsie Jerkins, Thomas, and June Jerkins. I know it's almost time to go, but they were my background singers. So Demetria Scott, thank you for getting me started. And Alona Cunningham and Brown Lee, Lynette Brown Lee were my
Yes,
musicians.
yes,
So it's just been a blessing.
absolutely. So we have about 6 more minutes. So here's
Okay.
what we want to do. We're gonna talk about respect. That will be the last thing. And y'all know there's so many layers to Belinda. So and she made it clear tonight, and I'm sure she doesn't mind me saying this public. I did this just for you. So everybody that's on the live tonight, you're watching this video podcast, you believe in the power of prayer. We're gonna pray that she agrees to come back for a part 2 in June, which is Black Music Month. So we can hear a little bit more of her story. Amen.
Oh
And
my God.
you have been summoned to sing us out. So that's what we want to leave the last 3 minutes for you to do. It's been requested that you do. It's a blessing. So we're gonna stick to this time schedule. So if I'm not
Okay.
done by 7:57, I would cut and I would yield the floor to you. So you so respect. Respect was actually a musical review based on the life of Aretha Franklin, and it was written for you. When you got the call that this was being written for you to perform, how did that make you feel?
I was shocked because for me being a woman of color, it was totally different. That's why I say Keith would just do stuff out of the norm. And I appreciate it. And Avery Ball was the one who actually wrote it. Anthony Williams and I worked on the music.
Mhm.
And Anthony Williams is phenomenal too. And we worked together. We rearranged a lot of pieces and we
Mhm.
fitted to go along with the show itself. But I dedicated it to my mom because my mom was the one that really encouraged me to go ahead and do it. You know,
Absolutely,
that's all I grew up listening to Aretha Franklin,
absolutely,
whether it was gospel or R&B. And so I never was a nightclubber anyway. So I did never want to sing the nightclub, but this was a chance for me to show people other than what I my gospel roots. Okay, basically everything Aretha Franklin sang was gospel.
yeah.
It
You
was just
always can hear
a
that
spin
soul
on
churchy
mhm.
tone, always.
Church. It's church
Right,
because that
absolutely,
was her roots,
absolutely.
grounded. So anyway, after then, when Keith approached me with it, I was more than honored. And he said that was the largest at Red Mountain they had ever had because he said even the bar they sold. Well, it was high, you know, the bar sales were up. And it was a sellout every night. And they
Yeah,
would
you could not. The advance tickets sold like that. And literally, you really had to pray that someone canceled out. Literally, literally.
so much. It was a
And
blessing.
of course, that's been a show that you're doing
Yeah,
on your own now.
yeah,
And I'm sure it's a show that people will continue to
yeah,
see. Okay,
yeah.
now so it's 7:57.
Okay.
Y'all, we thank you for watching tonight. After you hear the
Thank
last
you.
report from Belinda George Peoples, please tune your TV in to part 3 and 4 of Aretha on National Geographic. And at this time, take it away.
One other thing.
Okay.
I was the first with Aretha Franklin
Yes,
here
she
in
was.
Birmingham, Alabama. We couldn't get her to come, but we did more. Just being alive in the eyes of Jesus is a blessing for you and me. Just being alive in the eyes of Jesus, I'm grateful. He takes care of me, yeah. Through my joy and through my pain, I'm the center of His will. In the midst of it all, it's a blessing. Well,
Nobody
love
can do it
y'all.
like you. So we still have 2 minutes. Anything that I didn't mention that you want to close with?
Hey to my baby girl Skylar. That's my little
Oh,
jewel.
yes,
Hey Terrence. Hey Whitney. Those are my children, my grandbaby. I love you all and to my family
absolutely.
and friends and even those who are not. I love you with all my heart. God bless all of you and blessings abound.
And I do see the comments, and I'll be sure to tag Belinda in it. So We both will comment on you. So as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next Monday, same time, same place. So
Thank you, Japal.
you are welcome, indeed, indeed, anytime. As
Now we
always,
gotta go.
keep the faith. See you next week.